All right, bro. So we're here. We're at Grace Family Church. This is where a lot of students and many of our audience who are going to be watching this, they attend here, specifically United too, especially for students. And so I want to hear from you, man, what's the importance of this place to you? What's the significance of this location for who Zauntee is?
Yeah, so I first started coming here as I was working on music before anything had come out. I think it was literally like either a month before or maybe even just a few weeks before the first song. And I was just waiting to see what God was going to do with it. I started coming here, me and my siblings, coming to United, and our whole family attending the church. I used to sit like right over there for real. Like I still remember my seat every week. But for me, it was kind of like this moment of I'm not the only one. Like I think a lot of times we're in our environment, and if we follow Jesus, it's very hard to be the one to stand out. It takes a lot of courage. And I think when you're in an environment like this, I started to make friendships that I still have to this day. You know, friends that I made here, friends that I made at camp, where we still push each other like, as men of God, like, are you locked in? Are you doing what you need to be doing? What season of life are you in? How can I pray for you? And that started here in this environment. And it made me feel like, for the first time, like I had somewhere to belong. And with my music, I want to create that feeling for other people. I want somebody who maybe doesn't have that community yet to hear a song and feel like they matter, feel like they belong. And I pray that they find an environment like I found, because that was a big difference maker for me. It was a lot easier for me to lock in and focus on the right things, knowing that throughout my week, in the middle of the week and then on the weekend, I had a checkpoint with other believers and teaching and worship that was going to push me to be a better person and, you know, finish out high school like all for Jesus.
Yeah. Talk to me about perhaps maybe someone in particular, whether it was a group, you talk about some friends, but was it even any person or group of people that maybe stuck out the most that might have kind of poured into you and in your story of where you are today?
Pastor Craig came over and encouraged me my first Sunday. I just happened to meet him. We sat near the front and he just was like, what's your name? And I mentioned that I did music and he didn't hear any of it, but he was just like, well, you know what? Maybe we could have you do something here sometime. And he just like shook my hand, and that's going from feeling unseen and like previous ministries that we had been around and just feeling like left out in a lot of moments in life to somebody who has that much, I guess, authority and is just looking at you like, I see you and I believe in you. And then I felt that from all the staff. We had a small group I still am friends with, but I think pouring into me, it was the culture of this space. It wasn't just the sermon, it wasn't just the worship, but it was this idea that like, we care about you when you're here. Like there's fun activities, there's also stuff that you're gonna learn, but a lot of it was like, you just walk in, you feel seen, you see your friends, you say what's up, and you just step into an environment like, man, like I matter and it's gonna be okay, you know?
That's amazing. I think there's a lot of students that are probably feeling the same way as well. You pointed to a seat. There's probably students sitting in that same spot that could be thinking like the same thing.
Like 4 or 5 rows back on the right side.
Yeah, and they're probably thinking the same exact thing. The cool thing was you also did a couple, when you had a show here.
Yeah.
You know, and so tell me even about that. Like you're now in front of your peers doing the very thing that your heart is like desiring to do. You may not be seeing what you want to see, but what was that like for you?
Well, I remember the first one that I ever did was at Clash Camp, and it was like 2 or 3 songs, maybe 4. I was so nervous, bro. I went into this little closet behind the stage and I just prayed like, God, I give this to you. And it went amazing. And it was crazy because friends that I've been hanging out with during the week of camp and like, they were super supportive. And then there were people that I met afterwards who were like, we didn't know what to expect. And then coming back on a couple of weeks, we would do performances here.
Yeah.
And I just remember this feeling of like, man, like I've got an army with me. Like these are people that I'm hanging out with. These are my friends. We're playing basketball. We're taking notes next to each other. So coming here, performing in front of my peers, it gave me that push. Like I can go do this in anywhere. I can go on any stage.
Yeah.
I can open up for any artist, and I have that confidence because I feel like the people that I'm building a relationship with, they believe in me, and it fueled me for sure.
I'll say this last thing was, you got that student. You got another Zachariah in that chair right now. Whoever's watching, wherever they are right now.
Yeah.
And maybe they have that thing inside of them. They've got that talent, that gift, something they're holding back. What would be something similar to even maybe you felt? What would be something that you would tell that student?
Go for it. Go. We need you. Like I was on the edge of my seat in my life. Like I'm on this moment. and I got to choose. Am I going to stand up and I'm going to move, or am I going to be average? And you're responsible to give your gifts to the world. If God wants you to do something with sports or in a career, with your story, to serve somewhere, to work whatever it is, that if you're honest with yourself, if you get quiet, if you get still, and you talk to God, you know what you're supposed to do. You know there's something that you would regret it if you didn't try it. You know that there's something that you've always wanted to learn more about, right? Yeah. You're responsible to give that to the world. Because if you don't, the people who need you will never find you. It's bigger than you and I, man. And that's what I realized is when I started doing these songs, I started performing in these moments and having conversations with people that I was with week after week, talking about this song impacted me. Like, I got that hunger that you can't put it out. There's a fire that you can't put out. I've seen the results. I live in the results now. But younger me, it's like, if I go back and talk to him right now, it'd be like, please go for it. Don't quit. Don't second guess. Like, we need you. The world needs what you have to offer. I've had people come up to me after shows saying your song saved my life. And I had a choice, just like they have a choice. I sat in that seat week after week. And I decided, am I going to live for God? And am I going to use my gift? Or am I going to be average and just do what's easy and what's safe? Because I made the decision to trust God and use my gift, my whole life has changed. I get to do what I love for a living, and I impact people. I change people's lives because of what God does through me. Mm-hmm. You're in that seat now, right? They're thinking about this as they listen. What am I going to do? You make the choice. And once you make that choice, trust God and everything will fall into place. But we need you. You're not too young, and you don't need to wait till the perfect time, the experience, the money. Like, start. And God is big enough to make it happen.
Couldn't say it better myself. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Thank you for everything.
Of course.